Hello, welcome to my cozy book corner. I'm in the corner of my office. I'm on a big beanbag that you can't see, but it's proper comfy. I have all my shelves in the background. It's such a cozy corner, I love it. So today I'm going to tell you some books that I have on my TBR. You might see them behind me, a little sneak peek. Some Sapphic books that I have on my TBR that I really should have read by now. They're ones that people are usually like, you haven't read that, you call yourself an LGBT person or like a Sapphic person and you haven't read these books, how dare you? So I need to put that right. I don't know when that's going to happen because I have a crazy time coming up, but it will happen eventually. So these are basically some Sapphic books that I will eventually read. Great video. So I'm going to start with the one that people usually are just, this is the one where people are just like, you haven't read this yet, how dare you? I recently did a video called Queer Conversations with Imi and Ellie, who share a blog together. They write about Sapphic books, and we discussed kind of the start of Sapphic fiction. We were kind of talking about the books that launched sort of Sapphic YA. And this book was one of them, and when I said I haven't read it yet, they were just like, what? Excuse me? And that is Girls of Paper and Fire. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I bought this so long ago. I have it signed. I got it signed at Yelp, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I think Ellie pointed out in that video that it was one of the books that, it was like one of the first Sapphic YA books that went really big and really mainstream. And yeah, I have had it for a couple of years now. It's been on my shelf. Still haven't read it. I think it's because I just kind of making excuses for myself here. I don't read fantasy very much, so all my fantasy books that I've had that I've either bought because they're LGBT or because the authors have been at Yelp and I want to go and get them signed. The fantasy ones have kind of stayed on my shelf and I haven't read them, but now I'm getting into it, I think, a bit more. I'm starting to learn to broaden my horizons a bit with the books that I read, and I'm starting to really want to read more fantasy. So Girls of Paper and Fire is one that I absolutely need to read soon. And yeah, I'm sorry to everyone out there that I have not read it yet. Next, we have Other Words for Smoke. This is one that I've had recommended to me so many times. Is this signed? I think I have this one signed too, but I can't remember. Maybe not. No, I don't. I thought I did. Anyway, I love the edges on this. So nice. Bright pink edges. One of my favourite books, I wonder if I can reach it. No, it's all the way up there, is All the Bad Apples by Mario Fowley Doyle. I talk about it a lot, and people have said that this is kind of similar in a lot of ways, where it's like weird sort of spooky Irish fiction that is there's a lot of symbolism in it, and there's a lot of stuff to do with like Sapphic people. So I am very excited to read this. Yeah, I've had it recommended so many times, so I have it on my TBR to read as soon as possible. If people compare it a lot to All the Bad Apples, I feel like I'm going to love this one a lot. Next is These Witches Don't Burn. I've wanted to read this for a little while now. It looks like it's so much fun. It's a like floppy paperback, which I just love. I think it's a US import. Yeah, it's a US import. I bought it from Waterstones, but it looks like it's a US import, which is great because they have these floppy paperbacks, which I just love. I haven't read a lot to do with like witches and witchcraft, and that's what this is, and I'm very excited about it. I know that it also is Sapphic, obviously, which is why it's in this video, and it's one that I've had recommended, again, a lot, so this is on my TBR. Next is another one that I don't know why I haven't read yet. Again, been on my shelf for ages, and it's a space YA. which is something that for the past like however long I've said is like my favourite genre is like space-based YA. I don't know if it is anymore. I still obviously love it. I love space with all my heart, like astronomy is my thing, but I don't know if I would say it's my definitive favourite genre now that I'm starting to expand out and read more, but still love it. Still love space, I love YA, and I love Sapphic Fiction, and that is all in The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Becky Chambers. Yeah, don't know why I haven't read this yet. I think this is another one that got signed at Yelk. Yes it is. Here. And again, it was one I bought because Becky Chambers was at Yelk, and I wanted to get it signed, but I haven't read it yet, and I don't know why. Again, people say how incredible this book is, especially in terms of representation, which I'm very excited about. I love a book that has not just sapphic representation, but all sorts of representation, like a proper diverse book. There's been a lot of talk recently with people saying a book isn't diverse on its own unless it has multiple areas of diversity in it. So if a book is sapphic, but it just has sapphic characters and that's the only type of diversity, that's great, but that on its own isn't a diverse book. A diverse book is if it has multiple different types of representation in that one book, and this is one of the examples that I see come up a lot of a genuinely diverse book that has all sorts of different representation in it. So I'm very excited to get to this one, and again, don't know why I haven't got to it yet. I'm sorry. Next up is Burn Our Bodies Down, Rory Power. I haven't read, what's the other book called? Wilder Girls. I haven't read that. I have it on NetGalley. I've had it on NetGalley for so long, haven't read it. Story of my life. That's the story of this entire video. Had it for ages, haven't read it. I got this recently because I had a Waterstones voucher for my birthday in December, and this is one that I saw recommended a lot. When I asked for recommendations, people specifically gave me this one. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite weird and creepy. I know Wilder Girls, even though I haven't read it, is quite weird and very sort of creepy and strange, so I think this one is too, and I'm starting to love things that are a bit strange and weird, so yeah, excited for this one. Oh, I think I just broke my wrist getting this one off the shelf. Finally, we've got two hardbacks. The first one is this mammoth hardback, which I've actually started. You can see my bookmark. I'm a whole 23 pages into this, and this is The Priory of the Orange Tree, Samantha Shannon. It's like over 800 pages long. It's a chunk. You can see in the top that I have split mine using page tabs, and that's because the book is actually split into like 6 parts, like 6 books. So because it's intimidating as hell, as I have just mentioned previously, I don't read fantasy very much. I haven't read a lot of fantasy, so this is intimidating to say the least. It's massive, and it's also like epic fantasy, but I'm determined to read it because people say how incredible it is. Again, a proper diverse book with tons of representation, great sapphic fiction as well, and I'm determined to read it, even if it's going to take me the rest of my life. I also love how it matches my clothes today. That's great. I love it. And then the final one on my list is another one that people say I should have read by now, and that's Gideon the Ninth. I know the second one is already out a little while ago, I think, and I think there's maybe a third one. I'm not sure. I got this in a Lumacrate a while ago. It's not the kind of book that I would usually buy. Again, fantasy, not really usually my thing, and that cover is terrifying and not usually something that I would pick up just from the cover. It's not the kind of aesthetic that I would usually instantly sort of gravitate towards, but because it came in an Illumicrate box ages ago, I own it, and it's a signed limited edition as well, which is really cool. It's got like this really cool signed page in the front, but I just need to actually read it. People say that it's great. I also love that the edges are like sprayed black. It's just a proper spooky looking book. and it's just, I kind of love it, even though it's not usually the kind of thing that I go for. When I'm usually rainbow and colourful, a black, spooky looking book is not usually something that I gravitate towards. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to reading this. I've seen mixed things recently. I know a lot of people adore it, whereas a lot of people say that it's confusing as hell, and they didn't... I've seen people saying they DNF'd it because they found it really confusing. I quite like a book where you don't know what the hell is going on for half of it, and then it all comes together and it all makes sense. I think one book that, I can't reach because it's all the way up there, another book like that I love is like one of my favourite books is Middle Game by Sean Maguire. You don't really know what's going on for half the book, but then it starts to make sense and you're sucked in and you forgot that you ever didn't know what was going on. Again, I was also like that with Six of Crows. So I feel like I will maybe get on with this if it's confusing for half of it, but then it starts to make sense. I don't know. Yeah, I will read it eventually at some point. It is on my TBR. All of these are on my sort of immediate TBR as soon as I possibly can. But this one's slightly more intimidating than some of the others. I've kind of left these two intimidating ones till last on this list because they're both quite chunky. I mean, obviously nothing's as chunky as Priory, but yeah, these are kind of the intimidating fantasies that I'm trying to encourage myself to get to at some point. They're the books that I have, the Sapphic books that I have on my sort of immediate TBR. There are so many more as well. There's ones that are coming out very soon. There's Hanny and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. There's One Last Stop. There's so many that I can't even think of off the top of my head. I know I've pre-ordered some of them. I will link to some lists in the description to like books that are coming out in the whole of 2021, like Sapphic books, so you can add them to your TBR if you want. Let me know if you've read any of these that I've just talked about. What did you think of them, especially ones that are maybe a little bit divisive, so ones like Gideon the Ninth, where I've seen very mixed things. But yeah, generally with all of them, let me know if you've read them. And also, please tell me if you've got other Sapphic books on your TBR or ones that you have read that you recommend, because I always want to add more Sapphic books to my TBR. But these are some of the ones that I just immediately want to read, and also some of the ones that people are shouting at me because I'm a Sapphic book person that hasn't read these books that are kind of like these must-read books. So yeah, I promise that I will get to them as soon as possible. Click subscribe, like the video. I make all sorts of LGBT sort of Sapphic content, and yeah, if that's your thing, then click subscribe, and I'll see you soon with a new video.